Hi guys, welcome back to another car review. I'm Ray Gan, and today we have our first featured car after the Philippine lockdown. What I have here is the flagship model of CHERY Auto Philippines. This is the 7-seater CHERY Tiggo 8 Luxury EX. Let's do this! Some people say that love is sweeter the second time around, and I guess the same could be said in the car industry. CHERY Auto first came into the Philippines in 2007, and though the brand stayed on for a few years, they never really gained a strong foothold in the local car industry. Well, fast forward to 2020, and CHERY Auto is bent on having a strong comeback in the local car industry. And it's now under the helm of a new distributor, United Asia Auto Group, the same guys who are behind Photon SUVs and light commercial vehicles. So how did United Asia Auto Group address that China quality stigma? Well, first, they threw in a 10-year or 1 million kilometer engine warranty into the mix. That's a first of its kind in the Philippines. Next, they added a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty for the car itself. And to sweeten the deal, they even included a 3-year preventive maintenance service package for free. Such a high level of confidence from the distributor already tells you what kind of quality awaits you with a CHERY Tiggo 8. But warranties and preventive maintenance packages aside, let's go around the car and check out its features and fun facts and just see how she delivers the goods. Normally when I do my car reviews, I begin with the exterior of the car, but the CHERY Tiggo 8's key is just too good to put at the end of the video. You see, it comes with this standard looking key fob, and you got your usual lock, unlock, and trunk release button, but at the same time, you also have this. This is a smartwatch key, the first of its kind that I've seen in a car. You see, this smartwatch key can remote start your engine and your air conditioning. It can remote open your windows and close your windows, and it can even remote open your trunk lid. Aside from that, it also tells you your heart rate, your steps, and it also tells you the time. So it's a nifty little key that you just wear on your wrist, so there's really no problems with you just fumbling around with your key fob just trying to open your car. It's already there. Now, it has a lot of features, so I won't discuss it in this video, but instead, if you want a little bit of a tutorial on this key fob, just click that video right there, okay? But after you watch this Tiggo 8 review. The CHERY Tiggo 8 was designed by Kevin Rice, the same guy behind Mazda's Vision concept, and currently the Chief Creative Officer of Pininfarina. Now, if you will look at the front fascia of the Tiggo 8, you will note that there are some Japanese and European influences found there. This is CHERY's signature crouching tiger grille. So, let's see. Crouching tiger. I'm having a hard time seeing it. Maybe if I squint my eyes a little. Crouching tiger look. Still not there, guys. But anyway, this front fascia is still beautiful because instead of having a huge gaping blacked out mouth, you have this nice chrome grille strip right here in the middle, which splits your front grille, giving it a more premium and upscale look. Now, that chrome strip ties up your LED headlights. Yes, you have LED headlights in the Tiggo 8 EX, but these are just for the low beams because the high beams are in halogen, which in my opinion is a particularly smart move because LED lights look good and all, but if you're trying to travel through hard fog and hard rain, well, LED lights just won't cut it, and that's where your halogen high beams come into play. Now, moving down, further down from the headlights, you will have your daylight running lights, and you've got a little bit of some fake vents going on here, which I'll have to give a pass to it. It looks good, but it's not really functional. But overall, the front fascia of the Tiggo 8 is a sporty, aggressive look, kind of reminds me of a more aggressive RAV4. Moving on to the side profile of the car, you will note that its size is pretty standard in terms of mid-size crossover SUVs. It is a tad larger than the Hyundai Santa Fe, which gives it a little bit more presence on the road. Now, if you will look at the wheel arches, you note that there are no huge black plastic claddings found there, which is a big plus for me because I don't like huge black plastic claddings on city crossovers, and that's what the Tiggo 8 is. This is a luxury crossover that you will just find on the streets. Now, the minimal black plastic claddings go all the way down, and here above that you will find that you have this nice chrome strip which breaks the monotony of the side profile. Overall, this Tiggo 8, I've been driving it for a week, and I've been getting some inquiries from some people, some drivers who saw it and they thought that it was a new offering from a European brand. So imagine their surprise when I told them that it is a CHERY. It's a CHERY Tiggo 8 Luxury EX. Now, when it comes to the wheels, you've got 18-inch blacked out wheels here, giving it a little bit more of a sporty vibe, and it's wrapped in, get this guys, it's wrapped in Batman tires. You heard me right. It's the first time I've heard of a car with tires that are named after the Dark Knight of Gotham. Well, if you look at the wheels and the tires, they do look like they are from the streets of Gotham. They won't be lost in the streets of Gotham, but yeah, you've got your Batman tires right there. Moving on to the rear of the Tiggo 8, I am blown away by the design of this rear end. You've got your full LED taillights going on there. You've got your full LED turn signals. You've got this full LED light strip that can be found there, giving it that premium luxury European look to it. And you've got your fake vents that can be found here at the rear bumper. I give that a pass. It's not really good, but well, it's there. And you also have this chrome accent that can be found on both sides of the rear bumper, which makes you think that they're actually dual tailpipes, but trust me, they're not tailpipes. They're just designed like that. The tailpipes are nowhere to be seen on this car. It's probably just tucked in inside. Now, the liftgate of the Tiggo 8 is also an automatic liftgate, but it is a smart automatic liftgate at that. You see, when it senses your smartwatch or your key fob, for 2 seconds, and the light would start blinking, and you just step back a few steps and your liftgate would automatically open for you. This automatic liftgate is pretty nifty because of that smart feature that it has. It's especially useful when you're carrying a bunch of groceries or heavy items and you don't really have hands that you can use to open your Tiggo 8, so it will just open automatically for you. Another party trick that can be found in the Tiggo 8 is the height preset of the liftgate itself. You see, you might be parking in a slot or a garage that, you know, the liftgate might hit something like a wall. So all you need to do is just put it at the certain height that you want it to open to, press the open button for 3 seconds, and you've got it. You've preset the liftgate opening height level. So now that we have the liftgate open, you will see that the trunk of the Tiggo 8 has a decent amount of trunk space. You've got 32.5 cubic feet of trunk space that can be found here. Well, it is a 7-seater, so that explains the cavernous trunk that you have. You see, groceries, golf bags, you won't have any issues with that. I got my photography and video equipment right here. And if you need a little bit more space, you can open the floor, and in this area you will have more trunk space that can be found. You got your tools there. Your spare tire is tucked away underneath the car, so that's also a good thing because it frees up a lot more space in your trunk. Now let's go over to the engine and see what powers this luxurious little baby. Alright guys, so the Tiggo 8 Luxury EX crossover is a front wheel drive crossover that's powered by a 1.5 liter turbocharged petrol engine, and it's good for 145 horsepower and 210 Newton meters of torque. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about those power figures or the lack thereof, given the fact that the Tiggo 8 is a mid-size crossover that weighs in above 1,500 kilos. But we will find out in our drive impressions later on how well it does in terms of performance and in terms of fuel economy. Since the CHERY Tiggo 8 Luxury EX is a 7-seater crossover, it would most likely be bought by people with families and with small children. So let's try out the second row, the back seat, to see how comfortable it is. Okay, so right now I'm seated in the back seat, and you could see that it is a good amount of space. I got a good amount of headroom right here, and in terms of knee room, I got a good amount of knee room as well. The seats in front are adjusted to somebody of my height. I'm 5'6", and as you can see, well, it has a good amount of space as well. Here in the back seat, you'll have your single USB port where you could charge your gadgets here. So if you need to charge a couple of gadgets, well, tough luck. You can't really do that with a single USB port. You have a small cubby here for some small items like coins, and you also have your dual air vents that are found here at the back seat as well. The quality and the fit and finish here in the back seat is pretty phenomenal. You could see the finish of the door panel itself. You've got even the speakers have a nice Tiggo accent here with some silver, and you've got some nice materials as well that can be found here at the side of the door. Now let's go into the third row seat just to see how comfortable or uncomfortable it could be. So all you need to do is pull the latch here and just slide the seat forward, okay, and step right in. All right, so I'm seated here at the third row, and it's quite tight, but there's decent amount of leg room and space as well can be found here. For short trips, it's pretty okay for adults, but don't go on a long drive and you're an adult and you're seated here. It's going to be a little bit of a torture for you. For long drives, this is perfectly okay when you have small kids and stuff. But yeah, back here in the third row, there's really not much toys. You only have a cup holder and no charging ports found here. So yeah, there's that. So anyway, let's get out of this third row. It's pretty hot and sweltering here. Let's get out of here and go over to the driver's side of the car and see what toys we can find in front. All right guys, let's go inside the car, see what the driver's seat is all about. And upon opening the door, you will note that your driver's seat is 6-way power adjustable, as you can see there. And you've got nice leather material. This is faux leather. Although it's faux leather, the design is quite good. You've got perforations in the center part of the seats, and you've got contrast white stitching as well. And it looks like it has quite some good bolstering going on with it. So let's go inside and see what the driver's seat is all about. Alright, so now that you're in the driver's seat, you will be greeted by this nice leather wrap steering wheel, and it's got a plethora of buttons right here that controls your cruise control and Bluetooth calling and volume controls as well. And you've got your instrument panel here. Your gauges are all in full digital LED, and if you'll notice, your gauges are kind of in a different format. You've got your speedometer right here at the left side, and you've got a tachometer here at the right side. It's a little bit confusing, but takes some getting used to. But you also have a redundant digital speedometer right here in the middle. Now you have your engine temperature and your fuel gauge both in a nicely designed, tasteful digital display showing you the level of fuel you have and the temperature of your engine. Now if you will go into the options of your LED display here in the gauges, you will see that you have what you call a theme, and the theme says it's in fantasy mode. It's a bit of a party trick right here, and you could also toggle it. Hold on, what happened? There you go. So you're at fantasy, or you could have passionate. So passionate is quite hot, and fantasy is quite cool. So it all depends on the personality of the driver of the Tiggo 8. Moving on to the infotainment display, you have here a 10.25-inch touchscreen display. It's in full HD resolution. You've got here a mock-up of the Tiggo 8 Luxury EX. It's a pretty nifty touch. Now if you notice, I've been touching it, but it's not really responding. Why? Because it's powered down. The power button can be found here below the center AC vents. You've got an actual physical power button, this is a huge plus for me when it comes to infotainment systems, because I don't really like fiddling around with the touchscreen when I want to turn on, turn off my infotainment system. So upon turning it on, it goes straight into radio, which is pretty much the default setting for this infotainment system. It's something of a pet peeve for me because sometimes, you know, I'm listening to my Spotify over Bluetooth, and you know, when I get out of the car and get back in and turn on the car, it always reverts back to the radio. I would really love to see CHERY change that, maybe with a software update wherein it would keep the previous audio settings that you were in. Like if you were listening to Spotify over Bluetooth, it would start up at that point. Now I keep on mentioning Bluetooth and over Spotify because the Tiggo 8 doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, so you'll have to use Bluetooth connectivity to you know, to mirror your smartphone. It's not really a big issue because, well, connectivity is pretty good. It's robust. All right. Now, looking at the screen, it's quite responsive, as you can see. The radio, you can go to music, go to picture and all. So the touch screen is very responsive. Now, if you don't like you know, fiddling around with the touch screen, don't worry, because you've also got your controls, a stack of controls here below the center AC vent. You've got your volume controls, you got your hazard light, your home button, you've got your answer phone button, and a settings button. And I love how they finish all these this panel of buttons. It's made of a premium metal-like material, all right, like an aluminum material, and it has that nice premium sound to it whenever you press the buttons. I'm going to press the power button again. Listen to this. All right, there you go. See? Really sounds premium. Now, well, the fact that it reverts back to a radio, and the fact that it doesn't have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is a bit of a pet peeve, but it's kind of negated as well by a party trick that I only found here in the Tiggo 8, and that is you have your own LED multicolor lights surrounding your dashboard and your front doors, which these lights are multicolor. They change color depending on the beats of the music that you're listening to. So it's pretty much like having your own party, your own disco party inside your Tiggo 8 while you're driving. It's a pretty awesome party trick that I'm pretty sure that fans of Scotty Kilmer will not appreciate at all. Now, going back to the infotainment screen, so you also have a 360-degree view camera. So you toggle that with a button, as you can see. And it has a pretty good resolution to it. It's not as sharp as some of the other videos I've seen in infotainment screens, but it's decent enough. And I like also the fact that you can toggle between the cameras with this. You see, you have a front, left, right, and back button. So you just press the B, and that changes already to the rear camera, and you press the R, and that changes to the right camera, and so on. So this is pretty good. As you can see, it's easy to touch. It's pretty sensitive, so that's also a big plus because you don't want to fiddle around with your touchscreen while you're going for a drive. Anyway, looking at the overall material of the dashboard, you could see you've got this nice metal finish to your push start button. Your AC vents also have, you know, you don't really have plastic vent controllers. Instead, you've got this nice aluminum-like circular controllers for your vents. See, and it's pretty nifty. It's not, you don't really turn it, okay? So just if you want to close it, just turn it to the side. So that's a pretty cool touch. And if you will look at your dashboard, wow, look at that. So you got your top dashboard here. It's made of hard plastic. No biggie because you're not really touching that a lot. Instead, you'd be touching more this one, the front dashboard, which is made of leather-like material, and it comes with contrast white stitching. But the front dashboard and top dashboard are delineated by this nice matte aluminum finished material, and it brings the whole dashboard look together, along with this matte aluminum line here that connects to your infotainment buttons. So overall, looking at the dashboard, fantastic look to it. It has a good feel when you touch it. It's soft touch materials, and the way it's fitted and finished it's not something that you would expect at this price level. This is something that I would normally see in premium European or premium Japanese offerings, but you have it here in the CHERY Tiggo 8. Looking at the door panel of the passenger side, you will see that it also is tastefully designed. It looks really attractive. You've got those nice textures near your door handle and all, and yeah, the way they made this, it really blows my mind, guys. I mean, it is a Chinese car, but it has really stepped up several notches when it comes to fit and finish of the interior. Now, moving to your climate control system, you've got here a blacked out piano black control panel. You've got your dual climate control found here. You can control it here because this is also a touchscreen, which is pretty good. All right, and when you do that, there's a redundant display on the infotainment screen, which you could also use to control your climate control. So it's either you control it on the infotainment screen or you control it here in the aircon system. So this is pretty redundant, but it's a cool touch. The only thing that might be a drawback when it comes to this is the piano black finish of this. As you can see, this is a media unit, test unit, but it's got a little bit of some of those fine scratches already. Now moving over to the gear shifter, you've got a more traditional gear shifter here with your usual park, reverse, neutral, and drive, and a manual mode where your up shift is pushed forward and your downshift is pushed downward. You've got your electronic parking brake here with your auto brake hold feature, which is a cool touch. It's very convenient in most cars nowadays. And you've got a nice little cubby that can be found here, which is a very natural place to park your smartphone. Now down here in the center stack, you will note that you have the same metal-like material that can be found here. And here you have a control for your drive modes. So when you toggle this switch, it changes from eco mode to sport mode, as you can see. All right, so now I'm in sport mode, and it can take you back to eco with just a toggle of that button. Over here, you've got a button that controls your camera. Okay, so by turning it on, you see the infotainment screen displays, well, a 360 view camera. It's very good, especially for a vehicle at this price point. A 360 view camera is a huge deal maker for me. Now, if you notice, this center stack control panel here has two blank buttons. All right, but instead of cheaping out and putting your just a blanking plate or something, CHERY decided to go and still put that same metal-like material to give it a clean, sleek look to it, and it's really nice. You got your cup holders here. Well, the cup holders kind of small, so on the smallish side, and you've got your center stack right here, your center armrest, which houses storage, and you also have the usual 12-volt charger and a couple of USB ports as well for charging duties. Another notable, or a couple of notable features that can be found also in the CHERY Tiggo 8 Luxury EX is the fact that, number one, you've got a panoramic glass roof right there. It's actually a sunroof, so it gives you that nice airy feeling inside the cabin. And speaking of an airy cabin, all Tiggo 8 models here in the Philippines are fitted with, get this, an N95 level cabin filter that filters out all the dust, virus, pollen, and bacteria and virus, as I mentioned, inside your cabin. So you've got an ultra clean cabin inside your Tiggo 8 Luxury EX. That is something pretty awesome, especially in today's times. Overall, the interior of the Tiggo 8 Luxury EX is a great place to stay in, especially when you're stuck, let's say, in heavy traffic, because all you gotta do is turn on the tunes and jam away in your own personalized disco found inside the Tiggo 8 because of those multicolor LED lights. So now that we've gone through all the interior of this car, let's now go and take her out for a short drive, and just to show you how she feels on the road, how she performs. So let's go for the drive right now. Alright, so we're now behind the wheel of the Tiggo 8 Luxury EX, and we're in eco mode. You see, you only got a couple of modes. It's either eco or sport, so there's no in between. You don't have like a normal mode. Alright, and off the bat I could tell you that yes, it is an eco mode. Why? Because, well, throttle response is a little bit slow, kind of sluggish even, and you could really feel that the car is holding you back, okay? It really makes you feel like you're saving fuel. And when it comes to fuel economy in eco mode, you can do around 10 kilometers per liter in the city in heavy traffic, and it could go as high as 16 kilometers per liter when in highway driving. So those are pretty decent numbers considering that this is a petrol engine, it's not a diesel engine. So yeah, pretty decent. In terms of visibility, you're seated quite high. The seating position is quite high, which is actually good. It gives you a commanding presence of the road. So yeah, overall visibility is nice. The feel of the cabin is you have an airy feel because I've got the panoramic sunroof open, so that helps a lot as well. In terms of seat comfort, the seats are quite comfortable. The support is supple. It doesn't feel like you're sitting on a couch, and it doesn't feel like you're sitting on a monoblock or a plastic chair, so that's actually good. And in terms of well, overall the climate inside the cabin, it's really good. Now a lot of people are thinking, of course, that in terms of build quality, you know, Chinese cars are not that good yet, but the Tiggo 8 will change that perception for you. So I've been driving around and we have this, okay, you see, I went through that not so good part of the road, and well, there's no rattles, there's no creaks that you could hear inside the Tiggo 8. The noise, vibration, harshness level, the NVH levels of this car is pretty good for its price point. It's almost the same like having the NVH levels of a car that costs like what, millions more. Now I'll have open a stretch of the road. Let's take it out of sport mode and go into take it out of eco mode. Now we're in sport mode. Wow. Okay, acceleration, impressions. It's not in your face. All right, acceleration is decent. It's there. You won't be caught with your pants down when you're accelerating, especially even on an incline or even in a full load. So that's also a good surprise. I was thinking that the 1.5 liter turbo engine would be too small for a car this big and this heavy at 1500 kilos, but in sport mode, it really can haul its ass. It's decent. Okay, let's go for it again. Yeah, and you could feel the dual clutch transmission working here. Okay, so we're really hauling now, and okay, we're now going really fast. It's really good. Okay, but the good thing here is that even while you're hauling like that, the Tiggo 8 still feels composed. It doesn't feel like it's shaken. It doesn't feel rattled at all. And that's quite good, because you didn't really buy this car to have like a sports car with all the sports car harshness in it. It still maintains its composure even while you're accelerating at speed, and that's pretty good. That is pretty good. The CHERY Tiggo 8 Luxury EX ticks off all the right boxes when it comes to the mid-size crossover category. It's got the tech, it's got the space, it's got the convenience and the comfort that you can find in mid-size crossovers that would cost millions of pesos more. And that's another good thing about the Tiggo 8 Luxury EX. This baby right here costs only 1,340,000 pesos. Now that is a veritable steal for a mid-size crossover that gives you 7 seats, all that tech, all for the price of a subcompact Japanese crossover. So if you're the type of person who is looking for a lot of comfort, convenience, and tech in his or her car and needs 7 seats, but you don't want to break the bank, well, the CHERY Tiggo 8 Luxury EX is a highly compelling option when it comes to your car choices. Once again, guys, thank you for watching one of my car reviews. I'm Ray Gan, and if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel as well. I promise you that we will upload weekly car reviews and road trips from here on. And well, I will see you again, guys, in the next video. Bye-bye.